Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
PayPal billionaire Peter Thiel slams Warren Buffett as Bitcoin's enemy number one and dubs him the sociopathic grandpa from Omaha. To me, that's a very interesting title. That's a very interesting subject, and I instantly was enthused by it. I wanted to check it out. So apparently, PayPal's co-founder, Peter Thiel, we all know, lashed out at Bitcoin critics Warren Buffett, Jamie Dimon, and Larry Fink, even though Larry Fink is kind of in the middle of everything, during his speech at the Bitcoin 2022. And Thiel called Buffett enemy number one and described the Berkshire Hathaway billionaire as the sociopathic grandma from Omaha. He also claimed JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink had a left-leaning political bias against Bitcoin. Buffett, Dimon, and Fink have publicly dismissed Bitcoin, with Buffett and Fink looking at crypto investment opportunities outside the company. Thiel, a prominent Republican backer, said that Bitcoin was the future because it could never be controlled by the government, unlike woke companies. And there's actually a really important underlying message here, which I've described to you guys a multitude of times already. And that is, don't take your advice from anybody on the internet. Be careful with that. Do your own research, back it up properly, and kind of nuance everything. But more importantly, don't let your own thoughts be manipulated by billionaires. One fun thing that I hear people say is, oh, you know what, just look at what these billionaires are doing. That's going to make me money and whatnot. No, not really. Again, there's a couple of stages to wealth. The first one being the accumulation, and I guess the second easy to explain little section of it being the basically to save, keep, or harbor whatever you've gotten. These guys that we're speaking about here, they already got freaking loads of money. They don't care about you or your Bitcoin, and because of the sector in which they're heavily invested in or work in, they'd rather have it fail than succeed. Think about it. BlackRock has their foot in everything in the current financial system. Jamie Dimon is literally the CEO of one of the biggest investment banks / just traditional banks. You can understand for both of these guys why you not really want Bitcoin to pop off, and the same thing can go for a Warren Buffett, for example. It's against what they publicly are backing with their own money. So you might say, well, but why? You can put up a ton of different argumentation as to why they should be excited about it. Maybe they've said something along the lines of like in Bitcoin. Understand that even themselves, they might actually own it, but they might not tell you, or they might still, to the public, say they dismiss it or hate it because that's in their best interest. So think about it like that. Don't take too much seriousness from some words like this. It's not worth it, I think. Then, get ready for a Bitcoin short squeeze. Long traders pile up as Bitcoin struggles. Yeah, so very short term here. We've been struggling a little bit. I mean, as I said, I haven't been really paying too much attention to the crypto prices because, as you all know, even though I trade quite a lot, we didn't really add too much to our long positions for a little while. We were waiting for a bigger breakout. And even though I think one of my trades has not done too well, I think you guys saw me open that trade a while ago, we haven't really added any money to any of our longs for a good bit. And so it doesn't really hurt me too much just quite yet. Now, today I don't want to focus on the prices, I just want to focus on all the news that we have. But it's interesting to kind of watch and see this whole story unfold with this bigger breakdown again below 45,000 to see how many traders got confused and many people lost their money. And it's kind of against the expectation because why would we, right? We were on such a good path. Why are we now breaking down? It's very interesting to watch that. But we'll talk about it a little bit later as we have the weekly close to look forward to in a couple of days. We're going to really heavily watch that. It's about a day and I guess 2 more days we have, and then we're going to watch that. So I'm going to say, let's just keep out for that. Ripple v SEC, new email conversation shows William Hinman violated SEC's rules. This to me is very interesting. Empower US scored some extraordinary emails regarding Bill Hinman, including one that shows that Hinman was warned that he has a bar under the criminal financial conflict with Simpson because you have an ongoing financial interest in the firm. So, as of this point, again, we cannot really conclude that Ripple has won or that the SEC has been playing it foul, but we can conclude that it's not completely clear that they're not doing anything really shady. Again, that's why I've already tweeted out 1,000 times that they should be properly investigated, and Empower US is trying. Now, little side note, by the way, for all of my XRP fans out there, we actually have a 2,500 XRP giveaway running. The only problem is, since I've not been feeling too well, I haven't made the gleam, But just know already that it's gonna be given away at the end of this month. And so any day that I wait with publishing the Gleam is gonna allow for less people to enter. So theoretically speaking, for all you avid viewers of the channel or my avid Twitter followers, that's gonna be even nicer. So just remember, I haven't forgotten about it. Still there, the 2500 XRP is ready. But I just have to kind of fill in the parameters for what exactly people need to do to enter. It's a tricky system. If I do not care about people, it's very easy to do a giveaway. Because again, I can just pick somebody who liked or commented under my tweet. Bam, we've got ourselves a winner. But I want to make sure that it's kind of like a YouTube people can enter, but Twitter people can also enter. Whatever. Alright, we're doing a Gleam. So this to me is very interesting because we were already expecting something along these lines. This came out a couple hours ago. James said, meeting with them while having such a conflict is not permitted. As we discussed during your briefing, even calls with them are not permitted. It's also a serious optics issue. You can't be seen to be granting special access to a firm you have a financial interest in. Quote, but Bill, it occurs to us that you have a full financial conflict of interest with your old firm, not just an impartiality one. Hence, you should not be having any meetings with your old firm. Even group meetings, the SEC is desperate to keep its own hidden emails from Ripple, and Power US does extraordinary work. This is good. This is very juicy if you ask me. Just the fact that they're finding this out right now, about 2018, about the stuff, oh boy, is that juicy, right? Because again, remember, what they're finding out right now is the conflict of interest, which people have been alleging that William Hillman has had throughout this entire journey. If you don't know who William Hillman is, he's basically one of the guys, very important guys within the SEC. He gave a speech in 2018, which people saw as being some sort of clarity, not officially, but people saw it. And there's a really big dispute as to whether or not there was an opinion or whether or not they were trying to give clarity to the markets, as the SEC is using that specific clarity as a base argument, but also kind of not, as they are kind of trying to say that it's just an opinion, so people shouldn't have taken it. Then again, other SEC members did see it as clarity too, and that's where things are confusing. But that's also where we are trying to figure out why exactly are all these guys like William Hillman connected so much with these law firms which are connected to Ethereum again? Why did Ethereum get this preferential treatment? And again, if it, and this is something you should remember and think about, if it was just an opinion, then why did Ethereum know about it up front like this? Why did they kind of play their game like this? And why are, everything's kind of playing together with it not really being an opinion but an official statement? Why were there 63 emails before we could give this speech? All that stuff. So it's a very interesting situation. But let's skip this for right now. Let's move on because, I covered it mostly, I think. It's just a very interesting little update that we have. Bank of America. Strategist warns recession shock is coming. Analyst says crypto could outperform bonds. Wow. Tough. This guy deserves like an award. I don't know what type of award you want to give to him, but this guy should be at the top of the class. Analyst says crypto could outperform bonds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stop this analysis right here. This person deserves the Person of the Year award. My days. Sorry. Crypto could outperform bonds. That is a really funny thing. Duh. One of the most stable things in this entire world. Yeah, crypto could definitely outperform it. Yeah, okay. Nice to think about, maybe. Some food for thought. Robinhood enables wallets for states without crypto laws in 2022. New York, Nevada, Hawaii are on the list, are off the list to sign up for Robinhood. The wallet will seek to associate with the BLN peer-to-peer payment network to improve its system, but apparently they're going to try this out in places that have not yet got themselves crypto laws. At least they've not really publicly said, we're against this, we're going to be monitoring everything or yada yada, something along those lines. And so basically Robinhood is trying to get this done, but they don't want to face as much criticism, so they're doing it in a smart manner. I can understand that, Just realize for yourself, and that's one of the main reasons why I keep showing these articles anyway, that crypto adoption is coming at rapid pace. It's going quick, alright? It's going very, very freaking quick. Even though some people deny it, it's going very quick. Then Bitcoin BTC adoption boost. Mexico plans cryptocurrency vote. Yeah, that was a nice one. But then also on the Honduras front, let me see if I can quickly grab it here. This is also to me very juicy, very interesting. Honduras economic zone accepts Bitcoin as legal tender. What now? Central bank. Well, this is a different thing than what I would have described to you guys, or at least that I wanted to describe. There's a difference between having like an economic zone, for example, and being completely for it in the entire country, for example, or accepting it fully as legal tender. But again, these are just steps towards the right goal. And remember, if you're talking about Bitcoin, eventually it'll be all these coins which we are excited about. Like for example, an XRP, like for example, Luna, like for example, an Ethereum. Maybe that one is a little bit more debatable, but you guys get the idea. Talking about all these coins which we like, Terra's Do Kwon reveals huge growth plans with Avalanche after buying $100 million in AVAX. Another thing to kind of talk about is the fact that these cryptos are being bought massively, and for a lot of these cryptos which have no cap, that's not really the biggest thing, right? But for a lot of these cryptos which have a cap, for example, with Ethereum in the way in which it's coming, basically, with Bitcoin specifically, and there's a lot of these cryptos officially have no cap, but theoretically speaking have a cap. But let's not talk too deep about that. Let's just talk about it being basically deflationary. It's actually a really big deal if they buy into it, because again, these people are never going to let go. Specifically, if we're talking about UST peg for that specific stablecoin, usually they buy, and there's not really any big reason for them to sell. And that's a scary thing, because if you remember, let's say that we just keep on buying Bitcoin, and it's people like me, for example, who don't really like to sell their crypto. We're just hoarders, basically. There's only 100 billion XRP out there in this world. There's only 21 million Bitcoin out there in this world. If individuals start to own large amounts and are not really willing to let them go, it's going to be pretty illiquid. And that's, again, something which is not completely true, since it has so many decimals. It will never really be that illiquid, since, again, you can split it over 100 million pieces. So it'll probably, I don't think Bitcoin is going to go above $100 million anytime soon, if you guys get my drift. So it will never really be unsplittable, so it will not be illiquid for that specific reason either. But you know, the price will definitely increase over time, just purely because of scarcity, in the sense that there's just going to be less and less and less out there, with more and more demand, most likely. At least that's my thought process into the entirety of it all. Had a couple other articles here open, I believe, some of the stuff we had from earlier today. Let's quickly check this out. First of all, Jack Dorsey has a message that will make Elon Musk very happy. I had a couple of jokes in there, I had a couple of pieces, but I'm going to skip it for right now. Let's just say Elon Musk is on the board over at Twitter. I wonder what's going to come next. I really wonder. I'm guessing they're going to do something about those crypto scam bots and whatnot, as Elon has publicly acknowledged that those are a really big problem, so I'm guessing he's going to do something about that. At least I'm feeling that. Bitcoin monthly outflows reach historically high value. This is an interesting one, right? Exchange outflows have now the value of a freaking huge amount of Bitcoin. Remember that exchange outflows, theoretically speaking, are also the scarcity effect taking place, because on exchanges you can see it being quote-unquote liquid. If it's off an exchange, you don't know how often it's going to be moving, which of course you have a different metric for, but just looking at this specifically, it's always a good thing. Then again, as we've seen now with the price, this article is from like 3 days ago. I've not refreshed it, but it's like 3 days ago, because that's the last time I uploaded the video, and I wanted to make this video as well, but then I was like, no, let me just sleep and take it easy for a little bit. There we go. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean something for the price yet. It's like for the bigger picture, okay. Short term, it doesn't say anything, and actually over longer terms, I can't officially claim that it either has any effect, but alright. Nigeria's central bank imposes a $1.9 million penalty on 3 domestic banks for crypto transactions. Is that good, bad? I don't know. It's from one perspective good that they're acknowledging it like that. The penalty is kind of bad. Then again, usually these type of sanctions or penalties are because of some shady stuff happening in the background. They're saying here strict compliance to no crypto rule. I'm assuming that it was supposed to be rule. Then again, for a real big bank, this ain't really a problem whatsoever, and it's just part of their plan, I guess, to regulate crypto over the longer term. So again, I can't see it as a completely bad thing. It's part of the process, it's part of the plan, so I don't see it as a bad thing. Then I saw this and I was kind of interested in it. Binance US raises $200 million in seed round at 4.5 billion valuation. I just wonder what the valuation of Binance itself is. Is it like 100 billion? Is it like 500 billion? Is it like a trillion? Is it like 2 trillion? The reason I'm saying I'm kind of confused about it is because Binance US is such a small part and it's 4.5 billion worth. But Binance US is the biggest Binance as a whole is the biggest crypto exchange in the world, which has so many other small parts under it, like CoinMarketCap, for example, and 1,001 companies. I do wonder exactly what the valuation of that would be, as they literally have the power to manipulate the entire crypto market if they play their strings properly. It's kind of scary if you think about it. And again, this specific article, I already showed you guys the other part of it, but it basically is revolving around the fact that Terra and the guys over there are buying as if they're like at a garage sale or something. They're buying all these cryptos and not really letting them go. And that's a scary thing from a certain perspective, because once more, they're partially manipulating the price by just doing these huge buys. for I guess it's a logical way of the system, right?
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.